with our afternoon session here. And we took the vehicles and we just sprayed them with flat. And we'll come check up on them in about an hour or so and see what's going on there. And yeah. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off on the vehicles. We've got this T-34 completely assembled. We're going to go ahead and work on the other one. And because what I'd like to do is tomorrow morning, maybe this evening, whatever, start painting these two T-34s. All right, so da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's see, we've got this back plate here to do. And see how the spacing is on this. See if this thing's incorrigible as well. Otherwise, we're going to have to get nuclear on this thing too. We're gonna have to epoxy that thing as well. I'll tell you what, I probably am not gonna mess with another kit that has a three-piece base thing. It's just too much of a pain in the ass. Be honest with you. Okay. Maybe get some gas can. Let's pull this hull out. Da-da-da-da. And what else goes on the hull? This placard here. Okay, and what else? These little two-tube things. The exhaust. What other parts of it? Yeah, that's all we need for now. I'm gonna have to get Mr. Pinvice out. And we're gonna have to get a smaller drill because these things aren't even drilled out at all, and there's little exhaust tubes. And let's just say you'd have one hell of, I don't know a whole lot of thing about machinery, but if you didn't have a way for the exhaust to leave the engine, you'd have one hell of a backfire. Whoops, not going to go anywhere fast. All right. That's the problem with leaving when you got a good group of folks. It takes a little bit of time for people to round back up and show up again, but I should be on for probably 2.5 hours, close to that. We'll see what we can get done. I decided not to take my contacts out. We just have our plus 325s on, so we'll see how far that gets us. Now we're going to go ahead and drill a tiny little starter hole in the middle of this. Okay, so then we got somewhere for this thing to rest on. I feel like this exhaust is also not the scale. It's a lot smaller than it should be, so hardly has any space to put a hole in. Just don't even need a whole hole, just need a little bit of a dimple. Somebody was saying the other day that I mentioned about the armor cast models and said that they have very little detail on them. They have an open top vehicle and it doesn't have any detail of the breech or anything missing. I'm like, well, these aren't much better. I'm not sure how old this kit is, but I bought it, I think, when it was already an old kit around 1995. There we go. That actually worked a little better. Just a little bit of a, I don't know if you can even see that. Just a little bit of a hole in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and take this down. We need to jack this chair up a little more than that. There we go. That's a little better. Oh, I still have some coffee left over from this morning. So hopefully in about an hour we'll see how that turned out. And then we'll start experimenting with some terrain stuff. Yeah! We'll see. Unknown territory. Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. It's pretty good. Let's clean up the rest of the stuff on here. I actually went to the Hobby Lobby and see if I was going to actually use my 40% coupon for something. I was going to get a pair of these snips to take these kits off the sprue, but they were like super expensive. I'm like, well, I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. Just because I got a discount coupon doesn't mean I just didn't feel like spending money. So I just didn't feel like I needed it. You ever feel that way? I got pretty good self-control. This is missing a gouge here now. Sorry, we'll dress this up like it's supposed to be that way. How about that? It's thin sheet metal anyways. It takes nothing for this to get damaged. Okay. Got fit that, and these fit down here. All right, let's get my cement and flip this over because we want to do both sides on here. Okay, and let's see. One of these goes on one side and one goes on the other one. This one goes on this one. Actually, strange to have a kit where the pieces aren't really marked. Not really necessary. It's not like it's confusing or anything. Let's go ahead and do the other sides. It's already softening and percolating. All right. Well, don't fall on the ground. It's the weekend. I'm not expecting to bend over. I'm not expecting any bending over on the weekend. Here we go. Let's run a little bit around here. All this is doing is softening this plastic and supposedly chemically welding it all into one piece. Yeah, we'll see if that's really the case. Got some wire snips at grocery store are much cheaper. Really? They have them at the grocery store? I didn't feel like I needed them. I've always used X-Acto blade. And good morning, Kevin. Late morning to you. I guess that would be bottom of the morning to you. I don't know. The fit and finish on this kit is definitely left something to be desired. Like I said, I already had this son of a bitch for many years, and well, that's my story. Okay. What section would those snips at the grocery store be? I wonder. Okay, we're going to skip the accoutrements. Let's do the hatch, the driver's hatch. I'd hate to be a T-34 driver. your hatch opens completely. Like, hello, that's a little too welcoming of a shell just coming in and just ruining your day. Okay, all those things go on there, and these two. All right. You open your hatch. Hello! Va! Whoops. You guys are familiar with the old Avalon Hill game, Patton's Best. They made a video game inspired by that called Armored Commander. This is Armored Commander 2 that's out, and it's a very retro graphics looking game, but Patton's Best only allowed you to play in Northwest Europe and against Germans. And this Armored Commander has all kinds of theaters, including playing Russian front, Germans, Italians in North Africa, British in North Africa. They've expanded it little by little. It's pretty inexpensive. It's available on Steam. I was doing a playthrough with about 6 battles and then realized that nobody was really watching that kind of thing. I guess you kind of have to stick to your theme, but gaming I've always thought is kind of a inspiration to do more of this. It's not to take the place of it. So that's kind of a cool game. Um, so I was just playing the recently one I was doing is I hadn't played it in about 6 months, and in those 6 months I hadn't played it. They added all kinds of stuff. They originally only had the Winter War, so you had Finnish and Russians, and they had I think Canadians and Americans in Northwest Europe. And since then, they added everything else. So there's so I started playing a Barbarossa campaign as the Germans, and I got issued a because you can play it like you can pick what tank you're in, or just have one issued randomly, which seems to be more fair than to just pick whatever the hell you want. Like, just imagine if you picked the Russian tank crew, right? And in Barbarossa, and you just said, "I'll pick a KV-1." Unless an 88 shows up, you're pretty much nobody's going to damage you. Or unless infantry like shows up with like a flamethrower or something like that next door, you're pretty much going to survive. It's just a matter of how many points you get in each mission. But so I started with a German campaign, and I ended up getting a Panzer IV, short-barreled Panzer IV, Panzer IV-D, and I did fine till one of the missions. I got knocked out by something. I forget what it was. But then my crew escaped and everything, because sometimes your crew doesn't escape. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of a little bit of role-playing stuff, but you give people kind of different things that they can do. You can open hatches and spot different things and move and that kind of stuff. It's a cool little tactical puzzle. And my Panzer IV got knocked out, so I got reissued with a random tank. I ended up getting a T-34, a captured T-34, which I think was a bit unfair because now I had an experienced crew in a T-34. Now, I had one guy that basically had to sit back at the barracks because there's only space for 4 people, and my German tank commander now had to be the one that was also the gunner. He couldn't just direct fire. He had to basically operate the gun. But It's pretty much impervious to everything. You're fighting other Russian stuff, so unless and get involved with infantry at close range, pretty much nobody's going to touch you. I mean, a KV, I guess, could ruin your day, but I didn't encounter a single KV. But anyways, that was kind of cool, messing around with that. Something else to do. It was a pretty inexpensive game. I want to say it was like $10 or something like that. They got a U-boat game that's out also, but I bought several games that are not all at once, but that are at a discount, but they're unfinished. And I don't know. You on one hand, you save a lot of money. On the other hand, is you have limited playability with what's available for the game. And if they do add more things to it, I at least am tired of it by the time those new things come out. So, but it's a cool game. It's pretty inexpensive. It's certainly worth the price. I wanted this to stand up straight. All right. What else we got? Turret stuff now. Got it. None of this stuff is here. Okay, it's basically all this stuff here. Here is the turret bottom. Turret top. Gun plate, the mantlet. And the turret top here. And this is the cover piece there. And this is the actual part where you can make it so the gun raises and rolls. Okay. We don't need this. We don't need this. All right, let's clean this stuff up. And we're going to go ahead and just take these little tabs off, because I don't want it to where the turret is attached, because what happens when the turret is attached, it is going to scrape up my paint job. So this is, I actually left it so that it's you can put it on later. And then also we actually opened up this joint so that it turns smoother. See, this is pretty darn tight. So what we did is we just went doesn't take much. A little more than that. see what we're looking like now. Oh yeah, that's good. Perfect. What scale model is that? 1/72nd. One 1/72nd. And I thought I had some crew members to put in it. I kind of wanted to put a figure in there. But then after my experience of playing Armored Commander, I realized that if your tank commander is responsible for firing the gun, it's they're never going to be crew exposed if they're because they they don't have a guy that can fire the gun if it's not them. And at the ranges I'm going to be playing at, you're not going to want to be crew exposed anyways. That's way too dangerous to be catching a grenade or something like that. Grenade can't really do much to the tank, but just realized my T-34 that I had captured it in that game, it ended up getting knocked out by a Molotov cocktail. So a Molotov cocktail got out of the engine compartment, and we had to bail out of the tank. But yeah, grenades can't do anything to you. Now, if it falls down your hatch, yeah, you bet it can do something to you, but just landing on the outside, nah. Not to a vehicle like this. I used to build 1/35th scale models way back in the day, and they're actually a lot easier to work on than these guys. These are kind of finicky. Let's put it that way. After these two T-34s, we have a JSU 152 or 122. Some Russian or Ukrainian kit I've had for a long time. I'm going to do it up as well. Okay, this has a little bit of a gap there. We'll use some of the putty to fill that in. Don't need a whole lot. And you guys ever play that video game Close Combat? Back in late 90s? That was a great freaking game. Really good against another opponent. Let's see how kind of fit and finish we got here. Okay. Good. Okay. This is what they call a T-34 1943 model. So it's the last version of the 76 millimeter armed T-34s, and but it has the cupola on it. So this it has the maximum. It's as good as it gets for a T-34 76 for crew. And it's not the model I would have liked to have had, but I'm not sure why I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it off eBay because came in a two-pack that didn't even come with a box. And they came with one set of instructions and one set of decals. And I'm also strange why the barrel is constructed the way it is because it has a separate tip on it. Just strange it would have done it that way, but hey, it's a wargaming model. You know, that's what it's going to be here. So, all right, this goes on the back. And let's get the other parts of the gun. Okay. Whee! These pieces don't weigh anything. It's really strange going back to that, working with plastic things after 20 some years or even more, and these little things just take off. And sanding this stuff down, I find extremely difficult because you are sanding things that you're using a tiny little piece of sandpaper, and it's really hard to manipulate it. And I'm not necessarily someone who's not used to working with things that are small. So it's definitely a different experience than white metal. All right. Now the last one I did, I actually put it together, and then I had to do some scraping on get the two sides to fit okay. I suspect I will probably be doing that as well. We'll see if we can't get this thing done by the time all the other vehicles dry up. That's the plan anyways. All right. Still can't believe there's people that would get high on these fumes. Never would occur to me. I mean, they're not that strong, so you got to get all up in it if you're gonna. Wouldn't that give you like a massive headache? I detest headaches, so I can't even imagine doing that on purpose. Okay, we got that. This little guy's going to fit in here like this. And we put all this together, we'll scrape the little stuff off to make it all even. What time's the Super Bowl tomorrow? Is it in the evening? Not that I'm going to watch it. Last time I watched the Super Bowl, I was working on my feudal Spanish. I think that's what it was. So it was like 2004, 2005, one of those years. And then I watched it a couple of years because of the commercials, just to see the commercials. Then I realized, oh, I can just turn on the internet the morning after, and then it'll show me the commercials. And now I don't even watch the commercials. So there's so many commercials that are just horrible. Like, you guys throwing that much money away on that, you need to just give me some of that there money. Doritos always had the best commercials. Not that I buy any Doritos. Okay. You want to be careful when you put this down because this softens the plastic enough where you can leave a fingerprint on it, which isn't the end of the world, but it's just annoying. We don't really want that on there. Okay. You don't want a fingerprint on your model. Okay. Then we will put this here. We're going to have to move this down because this thing's pointing up at the sky. We don't really need that. There we go. We can attach that later, but we want that at the right angle because there's this tiny little piece here. We can go ahead and attach that. There's this tiny little piece that goes fit and finish on this leaves something to be desired. It sits up here. And that's this little lid here. And the reason I know this is because I recently put one of these together, the other one. I wonder what's going on with that. I wonder why it's not going back deeper. All right, let's flip this over. There we go. And we want to move this further down. There we go. All right, let's put the top piece. Maybe I should see if somebody's out there putting models up together on the internet. Is it therapeutic? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, it's the painting part I enjoy. That is where I'm at. That's where my interest lies. Okay, got some hatches. I believe you tried it, but my computer was too slow in those days. You talking about close combat? It's not a very demanding game. Matrix has re-released it. And I actually got I believe it's called Gateway to Khan. That's the British one in Normandy. And played that for a few minutes, and then I realized that I better go ahead and return this because the AI is not that good. You can really hedgehog yourself with supporting fields of fire and really rape them a new one. And, I don't play those games to win. I play those games for a challenge. And when the challenge isn't there, and if I'm playing those games, I'm not doing this. And there's some people that have channels where they show themselves playing games, and they have a lot of viewers. I'm not sure who's sitting around watching somebody else play a game, but I would watch it if I'm thinking about buying a certain game. But just sit there and watching other people play a game, not really my idea of fun. Okay, if I remember correctly, these didn't fit in there really well. So we're going to cut them down. I was going to just sand them down, but that's going to be really difficult to see if we can. It doesn't take much. I shoehorned them in the other one. Let's see if we have a chance of test fitting this. This one goes here. And this one goes here. Okay, so it's this piece in particular, and it's the side with a hinge. Let's see if we can take some of that down. Okay, now we'll try it. We'll take some out of this side just for good measure. All right, now we should be all right. Now we should be all right. Perfect. Bum, bum, bum. It's almost like I know what I'm doing sometimes. All right, let's check for fit and finish on this one. We're good. Well, hell, I could probably just... Well, let's put some down first. You won't put any on the inside of this because it'll be difficult to grab it. And ooh, from the back side. Yeah, baby. Okay. This is the fiddliest thing of fiddliest things. Know why they decided to do this way. Okay. We'll have to probably clean that up in the morning there. And after this dries, never noticed this before. Big old part sticking out of the bottom. Check for fit. Okay. Let's turn this thing upside down. I think it touches in any other places. All right. There's a couple little gaps in there. We'll fill that up with putty this evening so that we can start painting this thing in the morning. That's it for the turret. What else do we have? We got to decide what we're going to do with the fuel tanks, because I want them both differently, and this might be the spot where I need to stop, because this one has these fuel tanks here, and they're actually not connected to the actual tank, but they've got you can fill them up just for carrying extra fuel with you. But they're just sitting there up on the hull. They're not connected to the fuel tank. It's not like it carries a fuel tank on the outside of the vehicle. But I want them different. So I may not put fuel tanks at all on this one. We'll see. We'll let that dry a little bit. And then we're going to fool with this stuff off camera. I had one hell of a time messing with this plastic track. I tried doing it in hot water, expanding, and it's too tight is the problem. So I know this evening I'm actually going to boil some water. I'm going to throw this son of a bitch into the boiling water. And, if something happens to it, something happens to it. But we got to make this track bigger. It's not really working on there. So I don't like rubber band track, and I don't like separate link track. They each have issues. They're different issues, but they can be solved by buying a kit that has all the running gear already glued on and taken care of. But like I said, I already had these guys, and I felt like doing some vehicles. So there's a crack in it? No. This one was missing one of the tabs too. So there's no way to glue this one together. Huh. I'm sure I'll find a way. Yeah, because this normally has a little tab here. You just pull it in there, through it, and done. But it is way too tight for the size of this. So we need to expand that a little bit bigger. This one doesn't have a way at all to attach it. What we'll probably do, look, it even ripped. Damn it, I got to give that guy some negative feedback. I bought this stuff from him 27 years ago or whatever. Oh well, I'm sure we'll be able to attach this with staples or something like that. Well, we need to make them bigger. Anyhow, let me check on one other thing. I'm getting a phone call that's coming in, and let's see if I can. Let me answer that, and I will be back to this. Stand by. see what she sends me. The wife is out of town, and she was trying to communicate with me. She knew I was going online. I said, "Hey, I want to go online," which means, I'm not available. And then she was trying to video chat. What is it that she found? Come on. If this picture would load up. Oh, very cool. Oh, those are awesome. There's a store in Jacksonville Beach. Let me send her a message back. That it's called Bally Cargo. Cool. Get them all. And they had this particular person travels to Bali in Indonesia, and brings things back to her store to sell them. And um, they are handcrafted things. They've got clothes and jewelry and things like that. And many, many years ago, they had some earrings. Not for me. I don't wear earrings. I'm old school. I don't roll like that. And but for my daughter, and they were almost made out of like clay. It's a certain kind of clay that you can bake, and they almost come in at like the best way to describe it is almost like little sushi rolls. Okay, and polymer clay. That's what it is. And they have designs on them and stuff, but they come like in a little roll that's like this. So imagine like this, but it's like a sushi roll. So if you look at the edge, it has like a pattern. And I wanted to get some more of those for my daughter, and they've never had them. And I can't. She showed me a picture where there's all kinds of ones like fruits and stuff like that, and they just look like little candies. And I don't know where the hell she found them. You guys want to see what those are? Yeah, here we go. I don't know if that turns out, but fruits and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Polymer clay, cool stuff. They actually sell them. You can, I think like you can like, I don't know exactly how it works. You bake them or whatever, but she, good. Daughter will like those a lot. They're very, very cute. So they were really expensive too. It was just kind of, it almost looked like those, like candies or whatever that you'd have as a kid. All right, Kevin, we will catch you next time. Maybe we'll still be on, and we'll be back on in the morning for sure. So, all right. Has it been? Oh, yeah, it's been. Let's go get the vehicles. Let's go get the vehicles. I'll be right back. And these are the vehicles that I was working on, and I've now given them a coat of flat. We'll see how flat they are. Let's see what we got here. All right. Let's see what we got. And the other thing about the flat is time goes on, it gets flatter and flatter. I didn't know that. So if you spray something and it doesn't look like it's totally flat, come back in about 3 days. It's the flattening has worked. And we'll probably give it a brush flat or something like that at the end when we're done with all this. So this is, you'd think the decals turned out. I think could I actually do that? Oh, cool. I can put the early turret on here. Can I do the other thing too? It's the same. It's the same gun. It's the same 45 millimeter gun on both. Almost. Funny. That's funny. Okay, so a T-20, the armored car, BA-6 armored car, and this thing and the Jeep. All right, so let's take a look at these. See if I can put these in a place where you don't get a shitload of glare. They're still a little semi-glossish. They're drying there, but I think the numbers came out pretty well. Pretty good on there. And the Jeep. Okay, now I need to find my instructions because there's a wizard on the internet that I watched his video of what he did, and I liked certain of the processes that he used, so I wrote down the steps of what he did. All right, first thing we're going to do is, and we're going to test this with, a Jeep, probably. It's the one of those I like the least. So if something's going to happen to one of them, let it be the Jeep. Let's see, where is... I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a moment and we're going to put some of these paints away. Because as you can see, there is a cluster of stuff here. So we'll put that here so you guys can kind of follow along. And we're going to put some of this stuff away because I am fully encroached. Okay, we're going to put our model supplies. We're going to put them, you know what, I can probably condense these two light grays. And we can put the modeling stuff here, which is kind of a new thing. I never had a spot for those before. Put these here. I'm going to put the glues here. I gotta do this stuff from time to time or keep myself from going crazy. Blues go with the blue. Other blue goes with the other blue. This is what I was looking for. Glaze medium. That's what we're going to mess with. Something I do not have a lot of experience with. So I could very well make a boo-boo. Exciting times. Reds go with the reds. Just helps you find stuff a little bit better. Another red. I didn't get one of those organizers that you guys have probably all seen on the internet everywhere that they have now, but at the time when I was building this rack, they didn't have them. They were, I think they only had one model, and it was extremely expensive for what it was. It was like $35, and I figured I needed to get about 3 of them, and I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. So the little system that I have, I ended up getting from, I believe, Michael's. It's actually a desktop organizer, supposedly what it is. And it was on sale. I think each one of these 2 bins was maybe $10, maybe. And that's what I got, and it has served me well. Okay, this goes down here. Glaze medium will keep it handy. A couple of strings. Those will have to go somewhere else and I won't be able to find them, I'm sure. brushes. Drill bit, X-Acto knife, other brush, X-Acto knife. Okay, now it's getting to be more reasonable here. Little drill bits can be closed up. I hate this little box. I think we're gonna probably ditch that soon. My flag for my Russians, which is probably what I should be working on next. We will see. We will see if that comes to pass or not. All right, now we're a little bit less chaotic. So what I'm going to be doing for now, folks, I'm going to do videos of cleaning up your workspace. Yes, I'm that exciting. Okay, I think we can think now a little bit. We can think a little bit now. All right. Speaking of thinking, coffee for the mind. All right. So, where is this little thing that I have? It has a little box. You know what? I could probably use, because I really don't have a use for it, the one that came with my painting palette. It came with this thing. That's what we're going to use. And it's actually magnetized, so it actually can stick to the side of the paint palette. Look, there's even another mat. Comes with two of them, which I'm wondering why the hell did it give me a separate one, but I think at some point I'm going to replace it because it's getting kind of mildewy. And I've washed it. It's a wet thing in an enclosed area, and it's going to happen. All right, so we have this. Let's get these little 15 millimeter guys out of the way. All right. I've got some water here. Let's go change the water in these brushes, and then we'll be good to go to move forward. So this that I'm about to do was shown to me using enamels, but it was shown to me using enamels that are products that I don't have, and they're going to take about 3 weeks to get here if I order them. The problem isn't the cost, the problem is the 3 weeks. I don't have the 3 weeks to wait on that. Okay? So, I'm going to do them not that method. And if I don't like it, I just, I don't have to do it. So what I'm going to plan on doing is I have a little piece of cardboard where I have the colors that I used for this. And it's here somewhere. I thought it was right here. Let me take a look. Close that. Those of you wondering, this is the Everlasting Wet Palette by Redgrass Games. I've been very happy with it. I've had it now for probably a couple of years, and I probably should have gotten it even sooner than that. As soon as you can get one of those, the happier you will be. So somewhere here I have a piece of cardboard where I describe what colors I used. Now, the ones I'm used to using isn't an issue. I thought it was in one of these little bins. I misplaced it somewhere. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go with the same colors that I use on the ground coverage normally, which is US field drab. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use VS field drab. Now this is experimenting. So if it looks like I don't know what the hell I'm doing, there's probably a reason for that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And where's my glaze medium? Here it is. So if I don't like how this turns out, I will probably punt and get those other products, but I do not want to wait several weeks for that. Okay, so this says water-based acrylic medium. Add to colors up to 50% to increase flow and transparency and slow drying time for shadowing and detail. It says matte finish, very useful for working with pigments. Okay. This is some stuff I've used. I've used some of this before, working on some of the dinosaurs I was doing, and it replicates kind of like a wash. Okay, so I'm actually not going to do this. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use good old chocolate brown. Where it is. I think that's going to be too light. No, that's leather brown. Come on, chocolate brown. I'm going to use the same colors I used for the groundwork. No, that's flat brown. Where are you? There you are, chocolate brown. Up to 50%, huh? All right, well, we don't need much of this. Oh, and you know what? We're going to need our trusty friend, airbrush thinner for sure. Let's open this thing up. That's the wrong side. It's this one. All right, let's have that handy. Let's put a couple more drops in there in case we need to do that. All right, and a sip. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this glaze medium. We're going to mix this up really well. Put some drops of it. Probably did that wrong. Up to 50%. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Let's do this. And I'm not afraid to say I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I can't be you can't be an expert at everything. I've just never done it before. All right, let's grab about that much. And we're going to take some of this brown, which is a pretty dark brown. We're probably going to need more of this. I don't care what the directions say. I'm going to go with what seems right. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to paint this over it. So we're doing this kind of like a wash. Let's see what this looks like, folks. Let's see what this looks like. But the problem with using these for me is I don't have them here now. And enamels are very, they they can end up eating stuff, eating other layers of paint because of the thinner aspects that they have to them. So I'm a little leery of doing that. I gotta do something about this lighting. Because we want to do the tires, but the dirt is going to stay inside the tread of the tires. If I dry brush, what will happen is the part that has all the dirt in it will actually be the cleanest. So it'll actually be the opposite of what I want it to be. I don't know if that makes any sense. John Hanna, nice to be back online. Phone was away for repairs. Yeah. Well, I can't live without mine. So now we'll have this dirt that stays in the recesses. And I'd say this stuff is definitely, I don't know if it's going to dry matte or not. I'm not really worried about that because we are going to seal this afterwards. But this seems thicker than if it was an enamel wash, um, which I kind of think is actually probably a good thing at this point. It's going to stay where I put it. But so we're going to do this. It simulates this dirt that got kicked up on this stuff. That tire that's spare on the back has not been used, so we're not going to give it the same kind of treatment that this one has. Again, zero smell. That's what I'm used to. So you start using glues that have smell to them, it's really weird for me because, yeah, working in this hobby and all these products are very non toxic. But I've watched some people do gasland vehicles, and that's what happened. They'll dry brush the tires. So what happens is they're actually dirtier on the top, but the actual holes that can actually grab dirt and retain dirt are actually clean. And although it looks okay, it's counterintuitive. You actually did the backwards of how they really would be. So I don't know. Am I overthinking it too much? Who knows? And we are going to bring some of this dirt onto the side. And I'm not sure how long this is going to take to dry. It could be several hours, but we're just going to do this vehicle and see how this one turns out before we fully commit to doing the other ones. I have a feeling this will be just fine. I didn't even need to do this type of weathering because, like I said, I want the vehicles to have kind of a graphic novel kind of look. They don't need to be ultra realistic or anything. All right, let's make sure it is in the recesses where it needs to be. And so forth. Well, other than the fact that this looks wet, this is what we're looking like on the tires. Actually, it shows up really well on the camera, better than in real life. So, and you know, we probably need some of this crap here in the floorboard. Okay, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to let this thing dry. And this is the darkest color we're going to do this with. We're probably going to come up and do one lighter one as well. And then we'll see how that turns out. But this is the weathering I was talking about. It's not going to be super. It's not going to be super heavy. It's just going to be kind of subtle. All right. And of course, I mixed way too much. Always. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to dry in here. Some of these things, like I bought some little, like a palette to use and use craft paint in it, and I could never was able to get the craft paint out. I don't know why the cheap paint would stick so well to it. So we're going to go ahead and rinse this so we don't have to look at this next time I do it. All right. And all of it comes off. All of it came off. Okay. What time we got? 3 o'clock. I got maybe 45 minutes more I could do. Anybody have anything of interest? No. Okay, you guys are just along for the ride. Okay, that'll work. We're gonna let this sit and percolate. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take it to dry. It could be several hours, but yeah. Okay, I did that. I did using some of that glaze to do. I have these. I call them dragon eggs. They're these rocks in my Irish army for I use for an edifice, and those in particular, I wanted to have them have a little bit of a mildew look to them. So I took some green, I think some green, maybe even some green like as bright as this, and ended up putting a glaze on it and just give them a light little wash in certain areas. Not the whole thing, but just in certain areas where it would have, they might have been a little moldy. And I don't know if you can even tell that I did that, but it's yeah. See, these are drying even more. They're flatter now than when I first brought them. They look pretty good just as is. I just want to get some of that dirt and stuff here on the running gear, and then lighten them up. So the bottom half is going to be dirtier than the top half, kind of thing. So hey, I'm having fun with this stuff. Let's see how this is this drying any. Yeah, it's just kind of subtle with the dirt and stuff. And these are the same colors that are going to be in on the base. The base this thing's going to sit on has these similar type colors. So it's all going to tie in together. And like I said, if I'm going to play World War II, this stuff is going to be awesome looking, or I'm not going to do it. So you guys have seen all those pictures from War Games Illustrated and all those wizards that do stuff on there. That's the kind of stuff I like to look at. All right, let's go back to these 15 millimeter knuckleheads. Let's see if I can get away with painting this without my contacts in, just with the readers. See if it doesn't get to be too distracting. What do we got left on this dude? We got his flesh to do, and then we got leggings and such. Okay. It's flesh. We still have the flesh colors here. Perfect. let's get the old this thing out. Whew. Okay. We're gonna mix our little. Okay, we even use this. It's probably too watery. But nothing says you can't just mix a new color right on top of this one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take my contacts out. I'm getting too much glare. Be right back, folks. Okay. Downscope. All right. Much better. Now I can see what I'm doing. Wasn't able to see what I was doing before. All right. This with this. Used videos from Bovington Tank Museum as a reference for painting my T-34s. Ah, yes, but you've got to be careful that they paint them correctly because not everything in a museum is accurate. Believe it or not. Those might be. I used, yeah, there's just so many things that are available now as far as references. When I stopped doing World War II, the internet was still in its infancy. As a reference site, but now that's like the first place you go to check things out, whether it's videos of repaired vehicles or that kind of stuff. Still, the most elusive thing is the German colors, the Dunkelgelb. You'll get ones from one company and they just seem totally wrong. So we're gonna do them. We're gonna do them last. And a lot of those depends on how long things are sitting in a field. Sometimes the sunlight just really does numbers on them. So I know there's some World War II vehicles here in a place called Camp Blanding, which is very close by. You have to drive by it on the way to Jacksonville, and they have several. They have I think they've got a Sherman out there. I was just thinking if they had a second one, but I think they just have one and some half tracks and stuff like that. But they're damn near because they're of being faded by the sun. They're damn near almost look like this color. Not as bright, but they're definitely off colored. So it's definitely changed what color they are in the in real life. Australian Greg, I go to sleep with your dulcet tones and wake up to them. Back to the Hungarians. I am, yes. You just missed the T-34s. Well, let me fill you in. Hey, look, we got decals on them. Hey, look at that. Whoa. Okay. I'll be a little prouder of my vehicles when they're not, the models aren't total crap, but yeah. Look at that. And here is a little Jeep that we did the weathering there on the bottom at the dirt, and we're gonna go really light on that. We're just gonna wait for that to dry. We'll try it. If we like this, we're gonna base this little guy. And is that okay? Then we know what method to use. I think optimistic. I think it'll turn out just fine. They're just wargaming models, So you're up early. Good for you. Or the honeydew list. Oh, hopefully you don't have one of those today. Oh man. Back to the Hungarians. I spend so much time painting some of these armies that when I'm done, I don't even want to look at them anymore. I know, send them to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. I hear that. Yeah, yeah. No, it's just, I've already looked at them plenty. I think they'll do just fine in battle, too. Unlike my courage. Those poor bastards are 1-4, 1-5, or something like that. Damn you, Warband! It's Warband and Knights. What could go wrong? Yep. 'I have a little Japanese Hago tank also that I could have done, but if it's unlikely I'm gonna play World War II in the near future, it's really unlikely that I'll be playing in the Pacific because I don't have any of them painted. I have to paint the whole squad. I guess I have about a couple of squads of them. And I have nobody to fight them because I don't have any U.S. Marines. I got U.S. infantry, but they're for Europe. I don't have any Aussies. I don't have any. Yeah, I do have about a squad and a half of Japanese. 7:11 a.m. You guys are 4 hours and a day ahead. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and add more of this on here. I totally avoided doing the face on the inside. And I forgot about it, honestly. Let's go back in there, and you just have to kind of give an inkling of what's in there, because honestly, there's like no detail in there anyways. It's underneath the hat and so forth. Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take to dry. So what we're going to do is, well, the tiring looks okay. The dirt in the tires so far. We will see. We will see. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. We got the one little spot here that has the, or we did, that has the wick, so to speak. John Wick. Matchlockman. Poached eggs and bacon on Turkish bread. I have no idea what the hell Turkish bread is. You had me at bacon. Of course, I like my bacon very. I do not like it crispy at all. My wife knows better than letting me have her make than my wife knows better than her letting me make her breakfast. There we go. Whew. Drink. Coffee. 15 have some detail. Warhammer 28 are very detailed. 1/72 are too big for fast painting and too small for nice detailed miniatures. I like my 20 millimeter figures. I like them a lot. I just need to give these guys a flat coat, but stuff. No washes, all layering. The basing sucks on them, but we can fix that pretty easy. 28s just would take me too long. In another life, I do 28s, not in this one. You make me sad about my painting. Oh, come on. You can get better. Just keep getting better. You can do it. There's people that make my stuff look like shit. Well, maybe not shit, but figures anyways. You just have to stay. You just got to stay on it. It's a trick. And then when you get a compliment for those people, when you get a compliment by somebody that you really appreciate, yeah, that's a nice feeling. But I'm new at the vehicles, so but it's not like I haven't painted before. But we'll get there. We're not going to start doing like snow camouflage and stuff like that because some of those snow paint jobs they look like crap. Even though they're done well, they still look like crap because it's just stuff slowed, just thrown on there. But I wonder how I'm supposed to test if this thing's dry enough. It's not dry enough. Okay, cool. We'll mess with it in the morning. We'll mess with it in the morning. But I didn't want to go the airbrush route because what was going to happen is not only was I going to have the learning curve, but I was going to have the cleaning curve where I had to spend all this time cleaning the figures and stuff. The cleaning the airbrush, which I've used one way back when, and I didn't enjoy that. Actually, I used one not that long ago, but I got a really cheap one. It was too cheap. It was like $80 for the compressor, and that's what I used to paint my do the basing on my do the mats that we play on. Part green. That's what we're going to use for his leggings. No, they're not going to be that bright, but I want a bright core color so when I start adding black to it or whatever, it'll still have some something in it. And hopefully this isn't one that's super watery. Now we're okay. Part green. I'm not here to discourage you folks. I'm here to show you that even a moron like me can paint things okay. It's just a trick. The one thing that I have noticed is that anybody whose painting I like, or even whose painting I think I like better than my own, takes just as long to paint as I do. You can't quick dip your way out of better paint jobs. It might get the job done, but if you're looking really to take it to the next level, there's no shortcuts. So, because I sometimes feel like I take way too long to paint, but really my problem is if you spend time hemming and hawing about what you're going to paint next and how you're going to paint it, if you just jump in there and start painting it, it'll be okay. The paint palette speeds things up because you don't have to pull other colors out. You could mix something and then still be able to use it for, half an hour, 45 minutes instead of trying to fight the clock. All these World War II figures I painted without a paint palette and I had to remix the same colors who knows how many times because they dry out on me. But hey, you live and learn. All right. So, let's grab some white over here. And a little bit more white for the final highlight. All right, how's the metals over here in the corner? Are they still alive? We're going to find out at this corner over here. So I think the first key to doing better coding is just take your time. Just realize that the desired effects that you may want aren't going to happen by speeding up your painting. So, okay, we got to do shoes for this dude. And he's about done. We got to paint the little pack that his little bullets go in. His little bullet bag. Okay. And we have a bullet bag to put on this guy. It's, what color is this one? That one used that color, that one. We'll use this one with this light color here. Okay. We're done with that. That's the third one. How much time we got left? I'm probably not going to start anything else because I gotta be somewhere in 30 minutes to go pick up the daughter, and then I don't think I'll be back on tonight. I gotta spend some time with her, so I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do, but it won't be painting because she don't paint. Yeah, this little thing comes with it, and it has little magnets here, and they don't grab that hard. Yeah, I can't really. I finally used for this, so that's good. But we'll see how we'll see how this glaze thing looks in the morning, and I think it'll be okay. And anyhow, Rick, there you are. Hello, goodbye. Yeah, I don't think I'll be back on today, but I will be on in the morning, so bright and early. So anyhow, we will catch you guys there if you guys come by. Okay, folks, until next time, see ya.